Yeah.
Yeah. We're live. We're having technical difficulties, like always. But yeah, this is season 3, episode 6, Sunset, and it's the end of the crystal ship that
Yeah.
Walt and Jesse was raised up on. But before we get to that, in the beginning, the return of the cousins. We see the return of the cousins, which has been a while since we last saw them. And
Yep.
apparently, they killed this old lady, and they took an axe to a cop.
Yeah. Border agent. He was checking on this old lady who hadn't heard, whose I guess daughter hadn't heard from her,
Mm-hmm.
and they were wondering what happened. So
Hey, Ellen.
I'm
yeah.
here finally. Hi.
Hey, there you are.
Yay. Okay.
Yay.
Which browser did you use? Firefox?
Chrome.
Previously? Before?
Previously,
Yeah.
I've been able to do it in Internet Explorer. Firefox has not been the awesome browser it used to be for me. Anyway, so I use Exploder, but this is a Google thing. Chrome is Googled. Next time, just start with Chrome.
That's what I had to wind up doing, Ellen. I had to go to Chrome myself. So
There's this whole app actually that's open now on my computer, so which you don't do with Exploder. Anyway.
Mm-hmm. So we were just talking about the return of the cousins and the death of the old lady and the border patrol guard.
Oh yeah, there's a lot going on there. Like, first of all, it's a really, really big deal to open with this.
Yeah,
even though it has no direct association with the plot. It's just to wind you up for how bad these guys are.
Mm-hmm.
For things to come next week.
Yeah. And plus, it's a great way to bring back the cousins after them being absent for a couple of episodes.
Yep. And just showing how deadly scary they are. And those flies, when I was watching it, I'm thinking, all right, what did they do? Have somebody lay there really still and, like spray something that would attract flies? But no, those were all added digitally. They're CGI flies.
Oh, really? I thought they were real. They looked real.
Didn't they, though?
They looked and sounded real. Yeah.
Yep. Amazing, some of the details and that house required a lot of work.
Mm-hmm.
Was that had the one cousin just standing there very calmly with his hands up, because he knew the other cousin was going to come up behind the border patrol agent with the axe.
Yeah.
And then just crunch, yum, just another day.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Yeah.
But yeah, that was a great setup for this whole episode. Great way to bring back the cousins.
Gotta love that very first thing though, the Homeland Security.
Mm-hmm.
Fighting terrorists since 1492 or something.
Oh yeah, that was awesome.
Because this is the Santa Ana Reservation, for real.
Yeah.
And the mountains that they show, the Sandia Mountains. Sandia means watermelon, and they're named so because when the sunset, the sky turns pink and it reminds them of watermelon. So,
wow.
Can you totally watch the version with the commentary?
Yes, we can.
But, yeah, you know what? Actually, in this commentary, Kelly Dixon, who's an editor and who she's the host of all the Insider podcasts, she didn't know, first of all, she had a surprise for her. The RV that gets destroyed is not the RV. She didn't know.
Oh, really?
And she talks about Gale in past tense. And, this is his first episode. She talks about how much she loved the character and loved the actor. So this is done later. This is being done during season 4, actually. As you can tell from some of the insider stuff, Jesse's in the hospital. So, but yeah, she gave it away. She didn't mean to.
Yeah, this is the first episode with Gale, like you mentioned, and
yeah,
he reminds me of Price from Better Call Saul, because it's the two characters who shouldn't be a criminal is a criminal.
Yeah.
Price, like Betsy and Price.
No, Price. You know Price, the nerdy guy with the glasses that Mike went with.
Oh, who sold the oxy?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay, that was
Yeah. Sold Nacho the Oxy.
Yeah.
So Price is like, I have CRS. Can't remember shit. What did you just say? Price is like who?
Price
Gale.
is like Gale. Yeah.
Gale. Yeah. Yeah.
Except, well, maybe, because he's supposed to be some sort of brilliant geek. He obviously works for a pharmaceutical company.
Mm-hmm. That seems
Yeah.
like it.
Right. Yeah. And, what these guys were saying about Gale was that he is everything, Vince was saying, he's everything that Jesse's not.
Mm-hmm.
He's almost Walt's equal. And, the truth is these two are getting along just fine. And I think if it weren't for Jesse,
they are.
Walt would have been more than happy to keep working with Gale indefinitely, like, till the end. This was
And on this episode, we saw the triumphant return of Badger.
Yeah.
Badger and Skinny Pete.
Mm-hmm.
So we see Badger sampling some of Jesse's product and doing a little bit of river dance on the floor.
They're back to help Jesse out, but
and Jesse's like, "Don't scuff up the floor, dumbass."
Yeah, you've got Walt starting his first day and his new, his new employer in the meth business, and Jesse's starting his own thing. These guys are done. But they're drawn together because of Hank going after this RV.
Yep.
Oh, yeah.
And they're forced to work together on this.
Yeah.
And Jesse's losing out more in the steal than Walt, because Walt gets to go to the super lab with his lunch and with his name on it the next day anyway. But
And notice the first time we see Walt cutting the crust off the bread.
Mm-hmm.
oh, that's right, he did.
On this episode, yeah.
When he made his lunch. Nice catch.
I think this is the second time he did that. Second time he got the crust off. The first time was making a lunch for Walt Jr.
Was it?
He made a peanut butter and jelly sandwich.
I don't remember if he cut the
two.
crust off it or not, no.
Yeah, he cut the crust off, he looked at it, and
Oh.
he cut it again. There's a little bit of the crust on there.
We also get the book, Leaves of Grass.
Mm-hmm.
Yes,
And,
which plays a major role in season 5.
but you can tell they don't know this. Like Vince and the gang, the guy who wrote this episode, Kelly Dixon, Dave Porter was in this discussion. They didn't know that it was going to be important, so they didn't really talk about it, except that just about the poem itself. But there's Walt in his new model apartment. Reading the book.
He bought the floor model, as it were, yeah.
Yeah. And the painting in that apartment has been around before. Do you know where it was?
The doctor's office.
Mm-hmm.
Yes.
Episode 1.
The first.
I think Henry froze up on us. But yeah, as he was saying, the doctor's office when he first learned about his cancer.
Yeah, well, I had to have that told to me today, so I'm not patting myself on the back. I just thought it was interesting.
Henry, you froze up on us.
I know. They just don't think he's freezing up for some reason. No, it was the same painting in the doctor's office when Walt had his diagnosis.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Episode 1. 101.
Yep.
And at this point, there were a couple things they did here. Well, one thing was they told people in advance that were involved in the show that they were going to lose an old friend. So everybody's running around going, "Who's going to die? Who's going to die? Oh my God!"
It turned out to be the crystal ship.
Yep.
Yep. And, which is great, by the way, because it transitions into Walt's new stage.
Yeah. And
Yeah.
it's an era, and it's like the music they pick is so perfect. It's so sad, and you know, these guys are watching it happen.
Mm-hmm.
It's like a funeral.
And you had when Walt met Gale, Gale showed him his coffee maker,
Mm-hmm.
and Walt said that was the best cup of coffee he'd ever had.
Why the hell are we cooking meth?
Exactly.
Yeah.
Oh, by the way, we see Saul on that little machine he uses.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's a chi machine, and we'll see it later. I think Mike comes in once when he's using it.
Yeah.
And you're good right there. But apparently this chi machine is from the X-Files days, Shane.
Yes.
Oh, really?
Somebody, I don't know if Vince was given this or somebody else. It might have been the writer of this episode who was involved in the X-Files. But somebody gave it to somebody else. And so they said that would be perfect. They were thinking of like a treadmill, but this was great. This was goofier. So...
Well, the X-Files, I see a lot of connections with Vince Gilligan in Breaking Bad.
You do?
I do.
Like how?
The way they write it, they did the exact same thing. They did 3x5 note cards and plotted out the season in advance on one of them. And then they did the note cards again for each episode. And then on some of them, there's like a little, in one episode, Ermintrout's name is mentioned, Mrs. Ermintrout. And it was an episode that was written by Vince Gilligan. And yeah, and plus the camera work, really, really similar to Breaking Bad.
They use handhelds?
I think they, some of them they did, some episodes.
Huh. It's been a while since I watched. I'll have to check that out. But I figured you'd love that X-Files connection. Yeah, this is Pandora.
Oh yeah, you wrote about Pandora on your Facebook.
Yeah,
I saw that.
She's a little brat. She just takes everything you leave out, knocks it around, and gets She's sweet.
And also, I forgot to mention, Tuco was in an X-Files episode.
Really?
Yep.
Yep.
No, that I don't remember.
Cruz and that TV movie, Cleveland Abduction, is going to air next Saturday at 8 Eastern on my time.
I'm definitely DVRing that.
Yeah.
God, there was something really important I was going to say. I have these notes that I can't even usually read. Oh, the first scene where after was supposed to, once it starts after the opening sequence, was with Hank trying to convince ASAC George there to let him wiretap, think Jesse, but he was saying, I'm pretty sure that this RV is connected to that guy Combo that got killed, and he couldn't convince the ASAC, and basically ASAC told him, Gomi told me, says that there's nothing there, that Pinkman isn't big, and look, he got your job, so why don't you stop chasing your tail? And so this was supposed to happen so that we could see Hank go rogue.
I think that's next week's episode.
No, it was this week.
Oh, really?
Because when Badger and Skinny Pete are meeting with...
oh, yeah, that's right, the phone call.
Yeah.
Okay,
well,
I completely...
When they're at Jesse's house, he's sitting outside Jesse's house. He's got this pile of fast food remnants, and watching Jesse all day.
Yeah.
After he was told not to.
Mm-hmm.
So when we get to the junkyard, this is one reason why Hanks decided to go ahead and try to get the warrant, because he didn't want things to fall through that wouldn't pass in court. Mm-hmm. He wanted it legit for his boss. But like Vince was saying, he really could have had probable cause there. I don't know how exactly, but he was going to go ahead and be extra cautious. And
of course.
he also said that what Walt did was one of the shittiest things, literally, he said shittiest things that Walter White has ever done.
Oh,
Which was to make
I
Hank
thought it was
think,
genius. I thought it was the only way to get Hank out of there, is to mention Marie and Hilda left. I don't know what else Walt could have done.
Yeah.
I know, but he still, he said it's the shittiest thing he could have done.
And we see Walt get a call from Hank. Hank's like, hey, I know where the RV is. I'm fixing to go get it.
Mm-hmm.
And Hank's like, oh, crap, I got to go. He goes to the junkyard, and then Jesse calls Jesse. Jesse goes there. They go inside the RV. That's when Hank shows, because Hank followed Jesse.
Yeah.
Because he was watching him.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. And then Walt and Jesse are inside the RV, and Hank's there. It's like, oh, crap,
I mean, what else could have Walt done?
And then Old Joe shows up. Now, Old Joe, the actor that plays Old Joe, his name is Larry Hankin.
Mm-hmm.
If you are a Seinfeld fan, you may remember the episode where they shot Jerry's pilot. He was the TV Kramer.
Oh, yeah, they mentioned that. Yeah.
Yes, he was the TV Kramer.
Oh, yeah. This guy is great.
Mm-hmm.
This guy is a lot of fun.
Yeah, Old Joe. Yeah, and Hank is trying to get into the RV, and Old Joe's like, can I help you or something like that? And Old Joe points out to Hank, this is a domicile. This is where somebody lives.
I would not be harassed, bitch.
Yeah, and Walt looks at him like, did you have to say bitch? He's like, yeah, well, I'm Jesse, yo. I have to say bitch.
That's Jesse, man. That's his thing.
It's a saying. Jesse can't say bitch without saying bitch.
Bitch. Random thing. I went to work yesterday morning and we listened to this rock station, and I think they have the syndicated, a couple of guys in the morning, and they're doing some like little trivia contest on the radio. And I'm sitting there, and all of a sudden I hear Jesse singing fallacies. And I stop what I'm doing, and I look at my coworkers in the office, and I'm like, look, and they're like, and then one guy finally got it, and then it turned out, nope, none of the contestants got it. When they finally told him that's Jesse Pinkman singing, he was like, oh, I should have known that, but that just made...
should have called in and won some stuff.
You do!
Oh, yeah.
I'm
working, and... But anyway, yeah, that was a fun start to the day, a little Jesse Pinkman. But interesting thing about that scene at the RV, it is not all happening at the same time. Hank shot his part on a different day than than Aaron and Brian, and so Hank's outside the RV. Dean's outside the RV. The inside of the RV is actually a set on the soundstage.
Mm-hmm.
And they just wove it together, and it's nothing I ever want to. You can see now, how that's possible. But it wow, it's just seamless.
Mm-hmm.
Kind of like how Tuco was not actually in the car when he took Walt. When he had Jesse, he made Walt get in the car at his house. Raymond Cruz was not there for that part of the shot. He was filmed in the back seat separately, and they wove it together.
I didn't know that. I got to watch the commentary.
I didn't either.
I got to find the commentary and watch it.
I've got to get the 5 sets because they got all 5 up here at Walmart. They got all 5 of the Breaking Bad seasons.
Oh yeah, they're like what, like $15 a piece?
I'm not sure how much they are, but I would love to get them. Oh man,
15 a piece. That's $90. $90. You could do better on eBay.
Mm-hmm.
That inside information. Yeah, that'd be awesome.
I got the whole set on eBay, 44 shipped. That's 6 discs.
Nice.
they really treat 5A and 5B as separate seasons.
Separate seasons, yeah.
They do, and so it's 6 discs. So 15 times 6 is 90.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, but
you
you
get-
had Walt. You had Walt inside the RV, especially telling Jesse what to say, how to say it. Like when Walt says tells Jesse to say, "How do you know the bullet holes were there before you took the tape off?"
Mm-hmm.
You know,
bitch.
bitch. Yeah,
And
and
then,
then we see the RV. We see the RV get crushed.
Mm-hmm.
Well, of course, now we see Saul's secretary Francesca, posing as a police officer, calling Hank.
She did a great job too.
She did.
Yeah,
I
she was very
That scene was
convincing.
great. But yeah, I like to hear you guys' thoughts on what Walt could have done besides using Marie.
Well, there's what could he have done, but it still leads to this moral question about, so you fucked up and now you're in trouble, so you have to do even more bad things. And maybe he figured it was harmless. But I've had this debate with my watching buddy. Oh no, and you too. You'll say later, what could he have done about a certain child?
Yeah.
But at least in this case, nobody was really hurt. So.
Well, not yet until next week.
Right, but in this case, it didn't hurt anybody. It scared Hank. And then when he figured it out, he knew. You could see it in his face. That RV was gone forever. He knew it.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
They just had to get him out of there. And Walt knew. I mean, like they said, these guys were saying, he really loves Marie. And if she's in trouble, she is his only priority. And he peels out of there. And let the crushing begin.
Yeah, it's sort of a morality thing, what Walt could have done as an alternative. And then he felt like, well, this may not be moral, but if Hank catches me here, I mean, he already knows Jesse's there. If he catches me there, it's over.
Well, Walt was really thinking about himself. I don't think he really cared about Jesse.
No, I agree. I don't think he gave a damn about Jesse. No.
Well, at this point, actually, because they just came off of that big argument about Walt bitching at Jesse, saying, "Why are you using my meth? Why are you making my meth?" So I don't think at this point he cares about him that much.
Yeah, like he says to Saul, my fingerprints are all over it.
Yeah.
That was the big reason something needed to be done. So, yeah. He doesn't care about Jesse. I don't know, maybe Jesse's idea was a good one. Just barrel out of here. And then ditch it. But then you still have the issue of the fingerprints. So, could he have done much more? Not really. He could have done variations of the same thing. But it's now you're doing more bad things to protect yourself from being found out about all the other bad things that you've done, and it just keeps going on. And it's kind of like, oh, maybe that's not even a good. I was just gonna say, like, I don't want to demonize junkies because they don't choose to do this. It becomes an addiction. It's a stupid choice that leads to an addiction. But if you're going through the DTs, well, that's because you've been doing this for a while, and this is your just desserts. And Walt just avoids those DTs at all costs. Everything he does is a consequence.
Mm-hmm.
But anyway. But speaking of Walt and Skyler here, interesting conversation about the whole divorce thing.
Yeah.
Where she's saying, look, I don't want you to pay for all of these things that you list, because he signed the divorce and he apparently filled out financial paperwork or amended it somehow.
He wants to do child support, food, clothing, all of that. But Skyler said she doesn't want the dirty money. However, they've been using that dirty money to pay bills already.
Right. And I mean, that's the kind of big life decision you usually involve your partner in, husband or wife. If you're going to put both of you in a really compromising position, should at least talk about it first.
Yeah.
And he's continuing to force this on her, and he quit 2 weeks ago, right? And then Super Lab comes up, and he hasn't quit. But she's, again, to her defense, she doesn't want this money. Things are going to happen now that are going to make her have to accept it for the sake of her family, meaning her sister and brother-in-law.
We also saw Gus interacting with the cousins in a interesting way. At sunset, he gave the okay for them to kill off Hank.
May his death satisfy you. And Vince was saying they were trying to, show some of that harder edge to Gus, that he wasn't the mild-mannered, and also saying that DEA agents are usually, but he offers it to them like a gift.
Yeah. And plus, the reason why he did that is because he really, really needs Walt at this point.
Yep, because before he was saying, let me use him and then you can kill him. But I'm still working with him. So, yeah. Yeah, he's pretty nasty. And, what was the stuff about Dave Porter? I think one of the coolest things about this episode and what he did was they can't just use ringtones that exist already. If it's a musical ringtone, that's come preloaded with phones, that belongs to somebody else. So it's a royalty thing. So that ringtone that Hank uses for Marie, that we hear a couple of times, is something that Dave Porter had to write, and with an idea in mind that it was going to be kind of cheesy and poofy and
I didn't know he wasn't allowed to use the ringtones. I didn't know that.
Had to make their own. And he also turns to different instruments for using the cousins stuff, and it involves a lot of like really legitimate, like Aztec war whistles. That from Mexico. And it's pretty great, and lots of other kinds of like really legit instruments that are just unique. And it gives them their own flavor. It's sort of not consciously, but when we hear that music, it's cousins music.
Yeah.
It's different than, other bits that he does. And the camera work for them is usually steady cam. Just to give them a different style. And their hue is almost this orange, like, tint. Which is, they really just they gave them customized stuff. So, I want to listen and just put it on again and just really pay attention to music.
Yeah, because I heard the lawnmower sounding in the background every time they pop up. I don't know if it's a lawnmower sound, but it sounds like a lawnmower.
Oh, I think I know what you're talking about. Yeah, or a chainsaw. No, I think I know what you're talking about. I have to look that up and see. That's got to be some kind of instrument or sound that he's decided to put in. Oh, and that song that they play for was Walt getting ready for his first day of work, gets up at 6. Is not a real song. It's actually, that's a demo that this guy did. He was a songwriter, and he was pitching it to people like Sinatra and Dean Martin. And it was a demo. And apparently the only copy they had of it was in really bad shape, so they had to really tweak it because they really wanted to use it. And it was rejected. So, Dean Martin and none of the Brat Pack ever did this. But it did, as somebody said, it sounded like we already knew that song somehow. Even though it really isn't a song. We never heard it before Breaking Bad. And it's really cool. It's perfect for Walt being psyched about his new phase. Okay, I'm divorced, and I'm cooking meth in a super lab, and I got my lunch.
I thought I've heard that song before, but until you said that, then I'm like, I never knew that.
Sunshine on Me Today.
Yeah, that one. Yeah, I have to get the freaking commentary now. I feel left out.
It's fun. I wonder if they're available out there, but it's really fun to listen to it. Sometimes they just go, nuts. Oh my God. Some of the stuff Vince says, he's got a dirty mind, that boy. He really does. Dean Norris is a really, really funny guy, too.
Henry, you're back. Henry, can you hear me? I don't think you can hear me.
And I can't hear a damn thing.
I hear you.
I can hear you. You can't hear us.
I switched to my other browser again. I froze up.
You can't hear us now?
Hang on. I switched to my other browser.
Yeah, I was telling Henry, I wish there was something else besides Google Plus to do these with.
There's got to be, but I mean, this is cool. It puts it on YouTube and whatever. Another interesting thing, when Hank's walking away from the RV and he's got the crowbar and he just kind of scrapes it along the RV as he walks by. That was an idea from Bryan Cranston, and he said he should do that. It's fun how they come up with these things.
Yeah. You know what's really funny that in this episode, Saul doesn't know about the RV, but he was kidnapped in it back in Better Call Saul.
Oh yeah. So why did he act like he didn't know about it?
Exactly.
Well, that's a good catch. I didn't notice that.
Because he saw it.
He really didn't know? He sounded surprised? Or was it just that he was surprised that they hadn't thought about this ahead of time? Because he said something like even the Enterprise had a self-destruct mode or something.
There we go.
Hey!
I had to switch back to Google Chrome. I froze up.
Yeah, Google's forcing you to use Google Chrome for this hangout, Henry.
Yeah, I know.
Which I should have done the first 3 times I tried to get in. And by the way, this guy who wrote this episode is really big into like horror slasher stuff. So his favorite part was the opening. He loved all of that because that is like Nightmare on Elm Street, Nightmare of Juarez, or whatever.
Yeah. Yeah, it was interesting. We saw in this episode Gus, several times. Would see the twins, the cousins in the at Los Pollos Hermanos. He'd give them a look, and then You know,
Just shrug it
the one,
off.
yeah, the one employee was like, you know,
The manager,
yeah,
right?
the manager was like, gentlemen, we don't know what you're doing here, but
These seats are for paying customers only.
yeah, right. These are for paying customers only. And Gus is like, I'll handle this.
Mm-hmm.
But, he's speaking to them in Spanish.
First time one of them spoke. The one that
Yes,
speaks.
yes, that's right.
Tú
Yes,
sabes.
that's right.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
Tú
Right,
sabes.
yeah.
You know, it's really fun. I
And
was
then,
listening to one of these insider podcasts, and they said that Vince Gilligan doesn't speak Spanish, and yet him and his writers are writing these Spanish lines.
You know who else
yeah,
doesn't speak Spanish?
Gus.
Giancarlo Esposito.
Giancarlo Esposito, that's
Yep.
right.
Nope, he doesn't, and you wouldn't know it.
Mm-mm.
I was
And then at
convinced.
the end, and at the end of the episode, Gus is focusing the twins away from Walter
Mm-hmm.
and focusing them on Hank.
Yep.
Yeah. It's like, yeah, you got a hungry animal.
Mm-hmm.
So he's giving him some meat. Just not the meat he needs for himself.
Yep.
Right. Because at the moment he needs Walter.
Mm-hmm.
Right. And it's another way he is disrespecting Walt. This is showing how little he thinks of Walt. He's willing to kill his family
Yep.
Yeah.
for his own.
And that will play into season 4, an episode in season 4
Mm-hmm.
as well.
It will, and then next week, 1 minute, which is going to be my favorite one to talk about. One of my favorite ones in this
Yeah,
season.
it's gonna be awesome, man. That was gonna be awesome.
That was a brutal episode.
A lot of good
It was.
episodes in the season.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
But they say that in this season they feel like it's this that they set things up so the audience knows more than the characters do. We see the stuff ahead of Hank, we see the stuff ahead of other like Walt and other people,
Mm-hmm.
and it's they said it was really unique this one season the way they did that, and it creates tension when you know something that the character does not.
Yeah.
You
Yeah,
you feel like,
I agree.
oh, come on, do the right thing. You gotta figure this out. So yeah, I mean, and didn't that start in the very, very beginning of the season with crawling to that shrine
Mm-hmm.
Yes.
with
it
Heisenberg's
did.
picture,
Yeah.
and it's a big thing that Walt has no clue about.
Yep.
Started that whole season.
And you noticed in this episode, inside that woman's house, there was that picture of Heisenberg.
Yep, the candles,
Yep.
the whole 9 yards.
Yes. Yep. Sure was.
I mean, these are guys they could probably let this woman live. Tie her up like Crazy 8 style, give her food in a bucket, and then just leave. They probably didn't even have to kill the little old lady.
That was my biggest question. Why did they kill her?
Because they're just...
I'm guessing just to show how badass they are. That's the only reason.
It's if you don't keep killing people, you're gonna lose your badness. It might all wash off and you'll be a good person. So keep slashing.
Yeah.
Well, just like the little old lady that they stole the van off at the bingo parlor.
The van.
Just for Tio's wheelchair.
That was Cherry Rose.
Did they kill her too?
Yeah. Yeah, that's what they were saying in this episode about them, that they killed that. They had different viewpoints of it, but it was Vince who said, "Oh, there's no way they left her alive." In my mind, she's dead, and it was all because they needed the van for Tio.
Mm-hmm.
And I kind of felt that way just because of the terrifying music that went along with that scene.
Yeah.
You ever notice that the music
smelled like death.
You ever notice that the music from the Twins sounds kind of like a lawnmower?
Yeah, we was talking about that.
Hmm.
It does. It
It
sounds like a
does.
lawnmower.
Well, there's some unique instruments that they use, and I don't know if that's one of them or a sound, but like the Aztec war whistles that he uses, Dave Porter, for this. Um, and they really pointed to the music that he used for the scene when Hank is at the RV. This is a real tense,
Mhm.
tense, tense thing, and how it heightens it. And now I want to look more into that. These instruments that he uses. I mean, you got to create your own ringtones. Uh,
Yeah,
he does.
it was really interesting.
Mhm.
The choices of music that there have been people that have actually done covers of the Breaking Bad theme using only items for the most part that you would find in the meth lab.
Oh, yeah, I saw that one. I saw that on YouTube. And this is a really good one on YouTube. An orchestra theme, Breaking Bad.
Hmm.
Yeah,
Entirely
I
of an
saw that.
orchestra.
Yeah, I
Wow.
know it was awesome.
Yeah, I'll post that on the Breaking BadCast Facebook and let you look at it. Listen to it. It's really good. It's too
Yeah,
short, though.
I never heard of Dave Porter before this, and I figured, well, look, listen to this style. It is such a unique style,
Hmm.
and I figured it was his voice. But then you go to Better Call Saul, same guy, and he's got a whole different style. You would never know the same composer did both.
Yeah.
If you just played it, you would never think that, which
Yeah,
just puts me more in awe of this guy.
the Breaking Bad music. There's a little bit more of a menacing element to the theme for Breaking Bad, but Better
Dark,
Call Saul a little bit more
scary.
lighthearted because
Yes.
Saul is a very comedic character.
Hmm.
Yep. Sometimes it sounds like some 70s, like, I don't know, Chips or Charlie's Angels or,
Yeah.
I don't know. Something else I was trying to think of, shows I used to watch. Um, and which gives it a kind of corny feeling, but it's just very 70s cop shows. I just expect to see Eric Estrada any second, or I don't know. The 70s were so uncool.
But
Yeah, they were terrible.
the usage, the usage of the licensed music, Bad and Better Call Saul is very very good,
Hmm.
and Dave Porter uses these appropriate songs. They're very appropriate songs that he uses on each
Yeah.
show.
And it fits, too.
They
It fits with the
yeah,
style.
yeah,
Yeah.
they fit the scene. Yeah,
Just like the
Yeah,
theme to The
yeah, I guess
Third
so.
Man, where the Jello cup, it fit it.
I'd have to go back. I have not been rewatching too much Saul.
I have to wait till Netflix get them. And that's not going to be on Netflix until next year.
Yeah, well, I don't have to wait,
uh,
but I
that sucks, man.
not as not as compelled as I was with Breaking Bad. But oh, and I haven't watched Battle Creek for a long time.
Oh, I keep missing it.
I'll have to give it a try, but I don't know. It kind of is like in the vein of like Psych or something,
Hmm.
or any of those crime shows with the comedic element to them.
Yeah.
Maybe Bones is an example. There's another one I can't think of. Maybe a CSI. I don't know, but and that's not usually my thing. But I'd like to try again. One funny thing was that they had this whole episode about maple syrup, and it was just like the whole meth thing and whose
Yeah. Yeah.
territory,
Yeah.
and
Yeah. I saw
my
that
maple
one.
syrup is 89.5% pure, and
Hmm. Yeah.
and it's
It
barrel.
was. It was funny, but I think they sort of overdid it. They should have done it in you know, just have a little bit of it in there, but they just overdid it for me. Even though I liked it, I liked that a lot, but they just a little overdone it.
Maybe. I liked it anyway. Oh, there were a couple other little details that I got from watching these things. Walt's new apartment, when he's facing the glass doors, and the far left of that wall are two square pictures, and they're like that. So they're like the BRBA checkerboard thing. That was on purpose. People run around and go, oh, wait, just put this here and do that and this and that. And then in the RV, when they focus on the bullet holes from the inside and the light comes pouring through, they actually talked about that was a royal pain. It took them some doing. It required smoke and experimenting with getting the right light angles, and just to give us a visual effect that it wasn't necessary, but just really enriches everything.
Mm-hmm.
It's so amazing when they start talking about the details of what they do and how one person might not know something. There are things that Vince didn't know because he was mostly in LA during the series and post production and writing, and everybody else is in Albuquerque. But of course, he went to Albuquerque sometimes. But there are people he hasn't met. There are things he doesn't know. What did you have to do to get that shot? There's so much that no one person can be on top of everything, which is
And he regrets some of that too, because he said he regrets not being there the whole time.
But he was needed in the writers' room.
Mm-hmm.
He really was, and he's needed for post production. Because that's the final product. What gets edited, what gets kept, it's his baby. And you just can't be in two places at once.
Mm-hmm.
I'm just so glad they filmed in Albuquerque, though. I think that setting just made it that much more cool.
Yeah.
Visually,
and plus, it's something new. It's something new because all of the shows now, it's filmed in California, it's filmed in Florida. I mean, Albuquerque is something different.
Yeah, even if they say that they're, in whatever city, they're really still in LA.
Mm-hmm.
Half the time.
Yeah.
But
with this, I mean, they're filming on location.
Yeah.
Yep, with some soundstage.
Mm-hmm.
I think it adds a little bit of an element of reality. Realism. Yeah. It really adds that element of realism.
I just love also. There's this you can almost feel the weather. You can feel the extremes of the hot during the day and the cold at night.
Mm-hmm.
And it's actually, I think I would love that. I mean, I think that's just absolutely perfect. I like warm weather, and I love a nice cool night where you can sleep with the windows open and still have blankets. It's just perfect.
That is great.
Best of both worlds.
But yeah, going back to the location, I hate to compare, but X-Files, the first 5 seasons they did in Vancouver, Canada. And you could not tell they did those episodes in Canada. And then from season 6 to 9, they did it in L.A., but you can tell they did it in L.A. because they got that L.A. feel to it, if you know what I'm talking about.
Yeah, Breaking Bad, I think even when they're in, don't they go to Arizona? They do have Arizona, but...
I think they went to the Four Corners.
Oh, no, there was Four Corners, but you're still in New Mexico.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, just for that one scene with Skyler, that was a hike, I'm sure. But I'm sure that even like the Juarez stuff, El Paso / Juarez, was still in Albuquerque.
Yeah.
And when later they're dealing with Declan from Phoenix, and we know some people are in Arizona. They go to Arizona, but I'm sure that's still in New Mexico.
Yeah.
They go to Tahajali. That's outside. They do some stuff like that. But
Well, just like Vermont, where
New
Walt,
Hampshire. It
yeah,
was
New
still
Hampshire. It was still in New Mexico.
yes.
Oh
That's
my,
right.
oh my
That's
God.
right. It was.
That blew my mind.
It was, yeah. And
And
then Philadelphia, they did that in New Mexico. And
yes.
Better Call Saul.
Yeah, they did. And that surprised me too.
Chicago was in New Mexico as well.
Now, it doesn't surprise me knowing that Philly was, but yeah. The snow and everything,
But-
and just the streets looked more like Northeast City.
Yeah.
You know, it was, yeah, really good stuff. But I mean, I saw some technical problems with the timeline. So, you know, we figure he leaves. Well, I'm getting ahead, but let's just say when Walt visits New Hampshire, it shouldn't be winter at the time of the year that he goes. So the only explanation is that he would be on Mount Washington, which may or may not have snow that time of year. It's not perfect.
I think it's interesting.
The show is not
Yeah.
perfect, but I forgive all of its flaws because it really is the best in every sense of the word. It sets the bar so high, and there's nothing
Yeah.
that I watch that's that good. Ever. Even the X-Files.
Yeah. I think it's interesting how, you know, they have Saul, Jimmy, being originally from Illinois, and Bob owning Illinois. So kind of lends a little bit of credibility to that.
Yeah, because he'll have some of that accent that he came with.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
And he knew what a Chicago sunroof was.
Right. Well, so Henry, you asked me if I knew somebody with my last name because they were from Massachusetts too, and I've been here so long. I should have corrected you and let you know that I'm actually from Brooklyn, New York. I was born there and lived there for the first 15 years of my life. So I used to talk like I was from Brooklyn, you know, like walk the dog, have a cup of coffee, you guys. But I've been here a long time, so I'm not a good example of a Massachusetts accent.
Oh, okay.
Which
See, I didn't know that. See,
I'm
No,
a
we learned
terrible
something new
example
about-
of it. Yeah.
we learned something new about Ellen.
Yeah.
And okay, before we go, there's another error. How did Walt found out about the RV, where it was located?
Oh, good question.
That is a good
I
question.
wonder that. Yeah, I wonder that myself. How did he know where the RV was?
Didn't he call Jesse? Because he called Jesse, hung up, but didn't he try calling him back?
He just hung up and then called Saul.
Yeah, maybe Saul knew where it was.
Maybe.
'Cause
Interesting.
Take it to the junkyard from somewhere.
Mm-hmm. No, Jesse keep it stored in the junkyard.
Okay.
No,
So-
they keep it. Jesse was storing it where Brandon's.
Well, they dealt with this guy before, though, didn't they?
Yeah.
So maybe that's why he knew.
That's Brandon's cousin, I think.
Right. So maybe that's why he knew. That this was a guy who was willing to just take the money for the storage and shut his mouth. And
Yeah, that was Badger's cousin. Yeah, that was Badger's cousin.
so the most likely place for Jesse to store it.
Clovis.
Yeah, Clovis.
Clovis was the guy's name. Yeah, Clovis.
Clovis?
So I think perhaps
Mm-hmm.
Walt knew. Yeah, Clovis. That was the guy's name. So perhaps Clovis. I mean, maybe because Walt had dealt with Clovis before, he kind of suspected. Well, yeah, this must be where they took the RV.
I think that makes
Either
sense.
that. Well, now remember he did go to Clovis. Yeah, I know a guy who can get rid of this. Remember? That's how Walt knew.
Trying to
Because
think.
Clovis told him about it.
I'm
No, I was
super
talking about
confused
how
now.
did Walt knew where Clovis was at? Because that's where the RV was located at first.
I guess we have to assume that Jesse talked
Jesse
about it
might have
because
told him.
he showed up at wasn't oh no, that was a different one. There was a different guy who was storing it. He was not as friendly. He was the one
No,
with the
that's the
porta
same guy.
potty.
That was the same guy.
That's not this guy.
It's the same guy.
No,
It was
no.
Clovis.
Yeah, it's the same guy, Ellen.
It was
This
Clovis.
guy? This
Yeah.
guy
Yeah.
who knows his law stuff?
Remember Jesse?
Yeah, the porta potty incident, and
No.
yeah.
No.
I'm 100% real about this, Alan. It's the same guy.
Alright, I'm
Season
going to
2.
have to make a $20 billion bet with you because it is not the same guy.
Yeah, it is. Henry, back me up on this.
You can back yourselves up all day long and you're going to go back
It
up to
is.
that episode and find out you're wrong.
It was season 2.
I wish I could just put it on. And he's like, how much can I get for this? Because that was the guy who was going to sell the methylamine and all that stuff.
Yeah, that's the same guy.
No, definitely not.
I'm 100% about this. You know what?
Oh, man. And you're so young, too. To know that your brain is failing you like this. So, I mean, you're not supposed to be forgetful yet.
It's the same guy, man.
Oh,
It's the same guy.
You are so screwed because you're going to find out. Oh, I feel so bad for you.
I'm sorry, Ellen. I hate to do this, but I'm looking it up right now, and
Okay, you do that.
all right,
Do that.
right, okay. It was season 2 breakage, where Spooge robs Jesse.
No, okay, it's got to be the one where Jesse has no place to go because he gets kicked out.
Yeah, that's the one.
Okay,
Yeah, that was
Yeah.
it. Yeah.
Yeah, that's the one.
and he tries to break it so he can sleep in his own RV.
Mm-hmm.
Yes.
My word is my
He wound up getting all
bond.
that.
Yeah, that's the same guy because that's where he bought that red car off of.
Yeah, but
Yeah.
it's not the same dude.
It may not be the same actor, but it's the same
Well,
guy.
definitely not the same actor because this guy was a younger guy. He had like brown hair, and this
No,
guy.
it's the same actor. It's the same actor.
It's the same character. It's the same character.
It's the same actor too. You
May not
got
be
the
the-
chat. You got the group
Yeah.
chat up on the Google Plus.
Yeah, I'm gonna be doing my. I'm going to IMDb, and I'm gonna settle this once and for all.
It's,
You can
it's,
keep talking.
it's the same. This goes to show that my post is correct on Facebook about swimming with sharks and women being wrong. Did you see that, Alan?
No.
You didn't see that?
Uh-uh.
I know Henry
Hey,
did.
Shane has been right. Shane has been right on everything.
Oh
Just
no.
about.
Oh no. I so called the mic thing. I so called the mic thing.
We was half and half on Mike.
Yeah.
We was half on that. I was half right. You was half right.
Alright.
But he's been right on other stuff though. Shane's
Yeah.
been right on other stuff, not related to Breaking Bad.
Yeah. Henry's got a point on that.
He's been right on other stuff,
The
not
guy,
related to Breaking
the
Bad.
actor is Tom K.I.
Okay, here's Clovis.
Clovis, yes.
Clovis is a guy named Tom Quiche.
Yep.
And that's what it looks
Yeah.
like. Okay?
His first appearance was in Bit by a Dead Bee, and Down and Breakage, and most recent Sunset.
you get a good look at him, and he's kind of got dark hair, and even his beard has some dark hair. But this other guy, and what was it? Sunset?
Sunset.
Okay, here we go.
He played in Sunset.
I'm going to season 3, and we're gonna find out. No, because I know it's a different guy. I totally do. I'm gonna win right now. Hang on. Sunset, and scrolling here. Larry Hankin.
That's
No,
old
that
Joe.
was old Joe. That was
was
old
Joe.
Joe. Larry
Okay.
Hankins was old Joe.
All right, I guess it wasn't about.
Clovis is the character you're.
All right.
Clovis is
No,
Brandon's cousin.
Clovis was the one that was working on the RV. Remember?
Okay. Okay. I just thought we were. Okay.
At the other place.
I thought you were saying that the guy.
No. You can't explain
You don't
yourself.
figure me out.
No.
I thought that you were saying that the guy who had to deal with Jesse, Clovis, when Jesse broke in and did the porta potty thing, was the same guy who stood there outside the RV with the legal knowledge.
No, I didn't say that. Henry didn't say that.
That's what I
not
thought
saying
you guys were saying. So we actually did disagree. And the contest is off because we were on 2 different pages. But
Yeah.
I knew Alan had to come up with no excuses.
no, that's what I thought. I was talking about the guy, the white-haired guy with the legal stuff.
I'm just messing with you.
I admit when I'm wrong. It's just not that often, so no.
So
like Shane said, y'all were half and half on the mic thing.
yeah, we was half.
Yeah.
The half measures, full measure.
Yep.
Yeah.
Yeah, but he definitely had to have had done that incident, the half measure speech, had gone through that experience before his son died. Because by the time his son dies, he's really pretty much done being a cop. Especially after what he does.
So.
Yeah.
Right. Yeah.
But he couldn't do the same thing. He couldn't save his son by, his son was dead. What he was saying about the half measure speech is that he let that abuser go. Instead of, he put a gun in his mouth, I think he said.
Yeah.
And then ended up letting him go, and 2 weeks later she was dead. And then he would never, ever do something like that again.
But yeah.
Right. Yeah.
A couple random things, though. I had a Jesse sighting in the middle of the night when I had insomnia, and I watched this movie, K-Pax. Have you heard of that?
No.
Kevin Spacey.
He was in that. Yeah.
Kevin Spacey's a psych patient who insists he's from the planet K-Pax. And he's very convincing. And it's no spoiler to say that we see Aaron Paul at the end as the doctor's 21-year-old son. It's a young Aaron Paul. This movie came out in 2001.
That's right. Yeah.
And I was like falling asleep watching it, and I saw that face and went. The other cool thing is that Norman Reedus and Aaron Paul are going to be in the same movie coming out in September.
Which is?
Oh, Daryl and Jesse, man.
Yeah. It's called 999. It's like some crime thing where crooked cops work with criminals to pull off a big heist. Kate Winslet and Woody Harrelson are also in it. So looking forward to that.
Oh man.
Oh,
Daryl and Jesse, man.
Yeah.
Vince Gilligan is in talks with Disney to do a Jack and the Beanstalk movie.
Really?
Yeah.
Wow.
That would be interesting.
Oh, probably because of that one scene. Beans. What are we gonna do? Grow a beanstalk and escape?
Yep. It's gonna be Walt and Jesse. They got some magic beans. and they're going to talk about beanstalk. That's what I can picture.
And he'll change it for the, they'll make rice
That
out
would be
of
interesting
it.
to see what kind of that'd be interesting to see what kind of take Vince puts on the classic Jack and the Beanstalk story.
It would be.
Yeah, how does a guy with a really dark mind, dark creative mind, pull off unless it's going to be an adult's version?
It's Disney, so it can't be that.
That's pretty much true. Yeah, it has to be family.
I can picture Aaron Paul playing Jack and Bryan Cranston as the giant.
Hugh!
Hugh.
Hugh!
Yep. But yeah, that's pretty much it with Sunset. Next week is episode 7, 1 minute. And
1 minute,
my
yes.
God.
Oh,
What
we're
an
going to have a ball
episode.
talking about that one.
Oh, yeah. And
We are going to have a blast talking about that one.
Yeah.
And it's Jesse's face versus Walt's windshield once again.
Mm-hmm.
Because Walt has the Band-Aids on his windshield right now. Jesse's face might get hit by a rock or something.
Yeah, so we'll see you next week, and don't forget, I'm going to do the X-Cast, the X-Files for the miniseries episodes, the 6 episodes for the X-Files. It's going to be awesome.
You are? What? Dude, what? When?
I'm going to talk the X-Cast, the X-Files.
Next week?
No,
No.
the 6 episodes. I am not going to do the whole seasons. It's like 9 seasons. I'm not going to do that. So I figured.
I mean, like in the same back in the BadCast, about 1 minute.
No, it's going to be 2 separate things.
Okay.
Okay.
Wondered if I had to study. It's been a long time.
Yeah, you might want to watch some of the X-Files episodes.
Yeah, it's been a long
Hey,
time.
How you coming along with that?
I'm still quite a long ways away. I've only watched the one episode.
Episode 2 is Deep Throat.
That's an interesting name.
Is it about Nixon?
No, the character Deep Throat is Mulder's sidekick, you can guess. It's his Deep Throat. He gives Mulder information about all these conspiracies that's going on. So, yeah. So that's pretty much it. Next week's 1 minute, and I can't wait for that one. This is one of my favorites through the whole season, next to Full and Half Measures.
I can't wait to get to Fly.
Oh, I like Fly too.
Oh, Fly.
Yeah,
I can't wait to get to
next
that.
Saturday on Lifetime, 8 Eastern will be the Cleveland Abduction movie with Raymond Cruz. Tuco!
I can't wait for that. I'm going to DVR that.
Yeah.
All right, so you guys have a good night.